Hello and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this week's new episode of the Xbox Factor podcast. I'm your host, Mr. BoomStick XL. Ladies and gentlemen, we have literal breaking news regarding the delay of Fable. And folks, what we have in front of me here, what we're going to do, we're just going to kind of give you the opening. I literally had to change the entire show in the last 3 minutes. I was just telling Jamie, I hate when I have to do that, but I also love when I have to do it. It's kind of a hate-love relationship that I have with content creation. I like being prepared. I don't like being sideswiped, but this is a big deal. Now, the reason why it's a big deal is because what you see in front of you is the video that was posted by Xbox Wire starring, well, one of the most important people for Xbox, Tina Amini. She has been a stellar addition to Xbox. Her way of telling stories through the way that she produces these shows have put Xbox, in my opinion, on another level. The reason why it's paused is because I'm kind of waiting for people to file in. I know there are some other content creators that are going live. Please, by all means, go check out their things. I know Dirk Riggedy normally doesn't do 12 o'clock, but this is pretty much big breaking news. And obviously, we love Dirt. Dirt is one of the best in the business. So if you're going to go check out his stuff, please let him know that I sent you over. Come back around and check us on the replay. This is not only going to be something I'm going to be, producing into a single video later on this afternoon. This will be around for you to go check out. So if your favorite content creator is live, by all means, go support them. But Jamie Moran, again, we were literally just talking in the room. I got to shout out a couple of people in the chat here who actually made mention of it. And I believe it's KGE. Welcome to the program. It's a bunch of syllables that I don't really recognize, but I'm happy to see that you're here. Shout out to you for actually putting this into the chat. I saw it as I was, welcoming people, and you made mention of Fable being delayed. I'm like, I've been away from social media all morning, folks. Real life has stepped in. I didn't even get a chance to work out. I'm cleaning the house, and I've been listening actually to last night's podcast with Mav, Fun Speculation, 3-Bit, and Jasper, which was great. And I didn't even know this was happening until literally I rolled up. I was producing 2 videos that both are live right now, and I missed this. And shout out to, of course, once again, it is KGE in the chat that actually made mention of it. Folks, we're going to watch this video in a second. But Jamie Moran, how you feeling, brother? Welcome back.
Hey man, I'm good. I'm happy to be here. Look, I only just opened up social media before the podcast went live, so it's all news to me as well. And I get you. Like when news goes live, the second before a podcast starts, you kind of panic.
Yeah, you do. Yep.
Yeah, and you have to change everything last minute. It can be a bit of an ache. But no, I think out of all the games we saw coming for Xbox this year, Fable's the one game I think a lot of us expected to be delayed. But hey, I mean, as long as it's going to be a good game in the end, I don't really care.
I have a theory. Now, this literally is one of those things. You've heard me talk about, ladies and gentlemen, how I've came up with names for the shows, how I've come up with topics for the shows. Usually, it's doing the laundry, paying for my groceries at Stop and Shop. It's the most mundane things. How some of the titles for shows have came to my mind while I'm just sitting there, or I could just be peeling carrots, for dinner for me and Mrs. Boom, because I cook as well. And a show for the next day will literally pop up, and I keep a pen and pad with me, and usually it's my phone. I write it in. I have a notepad, and I go back to that because I'm getting older, so sometimes I don't remember, but I write everything down, and that's how I produce these shows. Today's one of those situations where we didn't see this happening. I do have a thought and a theory regarding why Fable was delayed till 2026 and what could go in its place. That's going to be the back end of the conversation. But before we actually watch this 19-minute and 36-second video with Tina Amini and Craig Duncan regarding what's happening with Fable. I do want to bring in Infinite Umbra. Brother, it is great to see you here. My Chi-Town brother, thank you so much for joining us. Whether you know it or you don't, there is some breaking news regarding the delay of Fable into 2026. We all kind of thought it could happen. Well, now it's official. How you feeling, brother? Welcome back.
I'm feeling all right. Very tired, but I'm here nonetheless with you guys. So it's giving me energy. You know, I called this a long time ago.
You did. Yep.
So I'm not shocked. I'm actually, listen, I've said it before and I'll say it again. This doesn't bother me like, oh no.
Our life is over. No, it's fine.
Yeah,
it's
a
fine.
positive to do. Take the time. I told them on their official post, take the time you need. Take all the time you need, in fact. I think, you're trying to reestablish this. I guess we'll get into it. I don't want to give all what I got to say, I guess.
No, you know what?
Yeah.
I love it. I love that, first of all, folks, if you don't know why he's tired, he works midnights, ladies and gentlemen, and he's here for your entertainment. So by all means, please, someone send this man a coffee. But yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to open up. I'm going to pull us from the screen so you don't see us. You're going to hear us talk about this. But I want you to watch the video uninterrupted. And again, it's just some new ways of us telling the story. So let me just go back to where this is all set up for you. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is, again, it's 19 minutes and some seconds, 22 seconds, I believe. And again, it's Tina Amini explaining what's going on, and they do have Craig Duncan. Let's hear what they have to say.
Hello and welcome to the official Xbox podcast. I'm here with a very special guest today. I get the great pleasure of introducing you all to Craig Duncan, our new head of Xbox Game Studios. Welcome to Xbox Studio, not to be confused with your Xbox Game Studios.
So I'm in charge of this as well. Like, this is new. I didn't realize that.
We don't make games here. Good to see you too. Yes, we don't make games here. We do make games marketing here, as well as this lovely podcast. So yes, thank you so much for joining the podcast. I do want to start with kind of giving the community a little bit of context about your very storied history and career in games. You've been in games for 2 decades, so you've seen a lot. You've seen the ups and downs of the industry, the literal ups and downs.
Yeah.
You've also been lauded where you were studio head at Rare for many years. You've been lauded for your work there. The studio culture, obviously you shipped Rare Replay. You've been in charge of Sea of Thieves for its millions, aka 7 years that it's been ongoing now. And you actually have been working with Ninja Theory and Compulsion before this new role. So you've been around the block, as they say.
Yeah, it's been a fun couple of decades, and yeah, I love what I do. Like, that's why I do what I do. Very, very lucky to see a bunch of the transition in the games industry. Joined back in 2002. Worked for a European publisher called Codemasters. That was kind of my learn how to make games. Made a bunch of different kind of games, action games, sports games. Then a little bit of a stint at Midway Games, a little bit of a stint at Sumo Digital, and then joined Rare to lead them. And I've seen Xbox evolve and change over, I guess, 14 years. I've been with Xbox now. And really, the part of the job I love more than anything is working with studios. I think everyone's role is important. I think my job as a leader is to help create the right environment for our teams to be successful, create a culture where they can support each other, help each other. Like, making games is really hard. It's not any easier now than it was 20 years ago. In fact, it's harder than ever. Competition's higher, player expectations are higher. So I think my job's about creating the culture and supporting our leaders, supporting our teams to do the very best work they can. Because I think if I do that, then hopefully that shows in the games we make and what goes to our players.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, a favorite part of my job too, just getting to know all of our talent at our studios.
Absolutely.
Like, incredible talent. So an incredible job that you have in front of you, but well suited to the role, obviously, since you've had a lot of that pedigree, which is very exciting. And I'm happy for the studios and how we're moving forward. So I'd love to talk about that as well. Like, we've got a big and exciting year ahead of us. We kicked off the year with Developer Direct. I want to talk about the games that were in Developer Direct because we got a chance to talk about the release date, so we know what's coming, when it's coming. But we also just released Avowed, Obsidian's latest game. So I've been spending the weekend playing that myself. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I again, the lucky part of this job, spent time with all the teams, spent a bunch of time with the Obsidian team. And then really, like, I feel like I've been playing Avowed for like 3 or 4 months because we obviously look at what we're building. But, just seeing the reaction of players, seeing the reviews, seeing just people share the same love for the Obsidian team have put so much passion, Carrie, Fergus, all of the team, so much passion into the game. And yeah, it's a wonderful game. It's got wonderful story. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. But just seeing all the reviews, and it's a real personal moment for a team when you put a game out there.
Absolutely.
And just seeing the reactions and just some of the hype around the game and people really enjoying it, I think it's been great to see.
Yeah, I'm unfortunately only 5 hours in. So immediately when we wrap up, I'm going home and I'm playing some more. This has been officially sanctioned. But even 5 hours in, there's so much depth and richness.
Yeah.
And we've had the pleasure of having Carrie Patel, game director, out on the podcast before. She's been on extended with me. So I've gotten to talk to her quite a bit. I love Carrie. Shout out to Carrie.
Yeah, absolutely. And just Obsidian's like play the game your way.
Yes.
And just like Avowed, sure, it's a game you can play in through the story and through the side quest, but there's actually quite a lot of the way you load out with your character that you can really play the game in very, very different ways. And I love that.
It's both the gameplay, but then it's also the exploration, which is really cool. I was just at DICE, and a bunch of my journalist friends were telling me like, "Oh my God, the verticality!" And it's like, yes, we've been basically talking about the verticality in the podcast with Carrie, and there is so much to do, and there is that sense of I see that thing in the distance, and I want to go engage with that thing, and there's something in that environment for you to do.
Yeah,
and that's like my kind of game, and been seeing a lot of good reviews out there. So.
Yeah, and just the story and the setting, and so I. Super happy for Obsidian and
world-class storytellers. I'm loving Kai so far. He's like scratching my like New Yorker sarcasm itch. So it's personality-wise, we're a good fit.
Good. I love that.
Well, we also had a bunch of other games showcased in Developer Direct this year. First off, I just have to say I absolutely love working on that show. It's both because we get to like really embed with the studios, like at their studio. So all of the audience gets to see what is the studio environment and like what is the culture, how are people working together. And it's just such a beautiful storytelling format, I think.
I love the format, and I think and I think you said it well earlier, just putting our talent, like we have so much talent across our studios, and just the more you put them, I always feel a little bit of a shill when I come and do this thing. It's like you don't really want to hear from me talking about our games, you want to hear from our team members, and Developer Direct is just a really great setting for them to talk about the games and the passion. And like South of Midnight was on there, which is obviously a team I've worked super closely with, and hearing them tell the story and the inspiration, and it's a great format.
Yeah, I love the Compulsion team. This is actually their 3rd ever game, which is pretty incredible.
Yep. They
have a very unique style. If the community out there has played their previous 2 games as well, people were really celebrating the storytelling, the performances, and there's so much heart in that game. And I love to see like people enjoying that when they've seen the
and again, very, very lucky. I've been playing it a lot. The creatures, the storytelling, the Southern Gothic, like there's no game I can think of that's been in a setting that they've realized, and it's beautiful. The art's beautiful. Like I say, the storytelling, the creatures, the audio, the music
too. Yes, especially the music. You always, in every game, the music is definitely matching the tone. Like the ambiance. Are you in a boss fight, or are you just in an environmental kind of a more peaceful setting? But the way that the music's like literally speaking to the bosses,
it's the storytelling.
It's their theme song. Exactly. I thought it was
incredible.
So clever. Yeah. So I was really happy to have that in our show. That one's coming out April 8th. We announced in Developer Direct. Fun fact, actually, before we talk about the other games, is art director Whitney Clayton, who opened the segment for South of Midnight, she actually designed their whole studios too, the studio space itself, and it is gorgeous. I joked with Guillaume, I want to steal her over and help design our office. He said absolutely not, so that's not happening.
See, I went for a different thing. I'm like, hey, I can just be based in here, because it just feels so creative, and it's back to that. You want to be surrounded by the things that inspire you. So
you feel the creativity when you're there.
Absolutely.
I very much love their space, and that's the beauty of Developer Direct. You get to see some of that in the environmental storytelling that we do in the show. But we also had a very exciting reveal with Ninja Gaiden 4. So that's been in the works for some time. What is our backstory with that franchise?
Yeah, and I love the story behind that. So, not only Team Ninja, but along with Platinum Games. And, I know there was a lot of what a Platinum Games working on, really prestigious developer. Ninja Gaiden, I mean, it's a franchise that started on arcade and then, home computers, and I guess, I think the original Nintendo, there was a Ninja Gaiden version, if my memory serves me correctly. But it's also a franchise that's been synonymous with Xbox over the years in multiple generations. So just to bring a, super up-to-date, highly polished, just seeing just the pace of combat, the excitement, the boss battle, like it's got so much. And I think fans are going to be blown away by the game. They're going to enjoy it. I actually love the shadow drop of Ninja Gaiden 2 as well.
Little bonus surprise, yes.
Yeah, and just, the fact that we get to have those kind of surprises in the shows and people can go play it immediately on Game Pass is really great, and look forward to Ninja Gaiden 4 later this year.
Exactly. It's such a good way to kind of set it back up and scratch that nostalgia itch, and then remind the community about like the great prowess. And
it's been a while since the last one. So,
yes, exactly.
Putting it back on people's radars and what was great about the franchise. But the publishing team really excited about it. Everything we've seen, like we think the game's shaping up really well. So.
We have so much love for Ninja Gaiden internally. The producer on my team that took on that particular segment and flew to Japan and worked with the studio used to, back in the day, work for IGN. 10 years ago, was begging for the return of Ninja Gaiden.
Nice.
So it's very special for a lot of us internally at Xbox to be kind of bringing this out into the world with those teams and get the community as excited as we are.
Yeah, it's a great franchise.
Really special. Yes, absolutely. Well, we also had third-party friends show up with a new studio, Sandfall Interactive. This is their first game that they're ever shipping together as a team, and it's Expedition 33. It looks gorgeous.
I'm excited to play this one. Like, and again, this is the bit where it's not part of my job, but it was the game in the show that I'm like, hey, I really like it. JRPG plus unique setting plus new IP. I'm really excited to play. I think I've seen as much as anyone else has seen, but
the only
also,
one you can say that with.
Absolutely. But what I love about Developer Direct again is it's showcasing a new studio, a new IP, and I love that we can do that on the biggest stage and show that to the world. So.
Yeah, and that team is really wonderful. I got to spend time with them working on their segment together. Their love for JRPGs is just so apparent. They were so embedded in their segment. It was like such a pleasure to work with them and help them tell their story.
Incredible.
Yes, absolutely. They really have their own like unique positioning on it and like really making it their own. It's very fun to learn from the behind the scenes, like just how much they're putting into this game. And we announced it's coming out April 24th. So that's
very
yet
soon.
another one to make for a busy year. And there was one other game in Developer Direct, of course, our big closer, our summer blockbuster, if you will, for Doom: The Dark Ages, announced for May 15th. So very exciting to have that one close out the show.
Yeah, and again, super excited for the game, the team, and just it's an amazing franchise, very storied franchise, Doom, and again, I don't want to speak for them, but I think it's going to be an amazing version of Doom, very different. But just
it feels that way to me too. And
super cool.
Speaking of it being a storied franchise, they did such a good job, both Hugo and Marty, just kind of drawing back on like the previous Dooms, the role that you played, and then what that is compared to Dark Ages and that kind of like, big mecha, like gobsmacking chaos that you're going to be finding yourself in. So definitely that big summer blockbuster vibe for a May 15th release date. We did also previously announce that Doom was going to be coming to other platforms. Yeah. And since then, we've had a bunch of other news about other games of ours coming to other platforms. Speaking of Bethesda, also Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
Of course.
And brief sidebar for Indiana Jones that took home 3 awards from DICE,
huge.
actually.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of congratulating Todd in person. Like the team was really excited. It was so great to see Machine Games on stage taking home 3 awards. So they won Adventure Game of the Year, Outstanding Achievement in Character, which of course went to Troy Baker for Indy himself, and Achievement in Story agree. All super well deserved.
Well deserved.
I loved playing that game. I think I devoured it in 2 days doing nothing else with my life, but I think it was well spent hours, I would say.
Yeah, me too. And again, kind of got to play it pre-launch, but what they built was incredible and well deserving of all the awards.
Yeah, absolutely. Very happy for that team.
Yeah, me too.
But on that note, some of the games that are going to be coming to other platforms, there's some of our like long-standing kind of flagship series, if you will. So I'm just curious what you think the Xbox community should take away from the fact that we've made that decision to bring more games to more platforms.
Yeah, I think it's good for gamers. I think it's good for our studios. You know, our studios make amazing games, and we want to give those games the chance to reach the broadest audience possible. So even if I think back to, you know, when I had my studio head of Sea of Thieves hat on, you know, having Sea of Thieves reach, you know, multiple platforms, being able to remove barriers so those players could play together. And then we announced Forza Horizon 5, which, you know, one of the biggest games on Xbox. I'm very biased, of course, because I know the team super well, but, you know, arguably, I think probably one of the best racing games ever made.
I think a lot of people would agree with you.
I just think it's good for gamers. It's good to have our games reach more places.
It's some of that quality of life element for gamers, but I'm also happy for our developers that get a chance to share their art with more people.
Everyone that makes a game wants it to reach as many players as possible.
Exactly.
So I love that we can give that opportunity.
Absolutely. Well, there's one other highly anticipated game that people would be very excited about that we haven't talked about yet, and that's Fable.
Yes.
So where are we at with Fable?
So I just want to start with really excited about progress, really excited where Playground are. We previously announced the date for Fable as 2025. We are actually going to give Fable more time, and it's going to ship in 2026 now. While I know that's not maybe the news people want to hear, what I want to assure people of is that it's definitely worth the wait. Yeah, I have unequivocal confidence in the Playground team. If you think about their history and legacy for Forza Horizon, you know, last 2 games critically acclaimed, 92 Metacritic, award-winning, beautiful, played great. And just what they're bringing to Fable as a franchise, you know, just think of the visuals of what you expect of Playground games, plus, you know, amazing gameplay, British humor, you know, Playground's version of Albion, so inspired by what's gone before with the franchise, but, you know, their take in quite frankly, the most beautifully realized version of Albion you've ever seen. So really excited about the plans and really excited about the future. And I want the community to understand that, you know, we do these things for the best of the games and the teams, and ultimately that results in the best games or the best game for the community.
And I think from your visit, you actually managed to bring over some footage for us to see some of those beautiful visuals as well.
Yeah, so I think we're going to show some of the footage. This isn't a trailer or anything. We felt as we were going to talk about, you know, the game, it was important to show some of the things.
Yeah, we get to see some of these scenes, like kind of both just walking through environments where inevitably there'll be some combat, some city walking scenes, just really seeing how the beautiful variety in environments that are in the game.
Yeah, and I've played some aspects of it that are in the city-based, and again, I'm trying to be very careful that I don't spoil anything. Ralph and the team won't forgive me if I spoil something, but I played some of the city elements, I played some of the quests, I played some of the combat, I played a boss battle, I've used magic. Like it felt amazing. Like, and I had a great time. And again, I remember the originals. You know, this scene, I've played that in gameplay. I'm not going to spoil the backstory of what's going on. But as you can see, you know, genuinely beautiful. Plays
just
great,
seeing like the cinematics and then cutting to the actual like fight over here, it's gorgeous. You can barely tell the difference, which is such a seamless transition. Yeah,
it's very real. Everything you're seeing here is very playable. I've seen a bunch more than that. I'm very excited. So, you know, take my word for it. But hopefully what the team can see here is enough to build excitement.
I love the little details. It's great to see how much emphasis is being put into all of that.
Yeah, and you know, there's no bigger fans of Fable as a franchise as the Playground team that are making it. So I think, you know, it's a really fine balance between what are the game tenets that are true to Fable and what's a modern day reimagining of what is
Exactly, yeah.
Playground Games version of Fable.
Yeah, absolutely. The modern retelling of Fable. I'm very excited myself. I've been a massive Fable player since day one, so I'm excited for 2026.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's all the news that we have for this particular episode and for what's coming up for the rest of the year. But before we send you back off to go hang out with other studios and see all of their games and tell me about all the things that you're seeing there, I would just love to know, like, what are you playing? What are you looking forward to the rest of the year? Maybe something non-Xbox Studios.
Yeah, it's kind of tricky because this job is full on, like as you would imagine. And so I spend a lot of time. So obviously, I'm over in Redmond this week. I've got a Steam Deck that's full of XGS games. So I spend a lot of our time playing our own games. We've got a bunch of stuff we haven't announced. So obviously, I spend a bunch of time with that. I think, as we've talked about earlier, I think Expedition 33, I think is something I'm looking forward to playing. Was cool to see the Switch 2 announcement. So like always curious and excited about what Nintendo do. So I think that will be cool. But yeah, just like we have lots going on. So I try and spend as much time as I can playing our own games. So
we'll call it research.
It's
fun research.
It is fun research.
That's me playing Avowed later.
That's the best part of the job.
Continuing my journey. Yes, exactly. Well, thank you so much for coming by. I hope we have you again here at Xbox Studio, not to be confused with Xbox Game Studios, which
that
are
is confusing.
Many locations. We are but one location here in Redmond as well. We're looking forward to seeing more the rest of the year. And I hope everyone else at home watching is similarly excited. And we'll see you at the next show.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into it because there is a lot to get into. This is big breaking news. I want to welcome in over 700 people watching live. I saw somebody in the chat said, Boom looks different. One, my mohawk isn't fixed. Two, I got an old man beard where you can see my grays. And I'm in the midst of cleaning my house. So it's been a bit of a morning, but here we are. And let's get it started. Jamie Moran, this was a fantastic near 20-minute segment with Craig Duncan and Tina Amini. And I got to be honest with you, every time that lady puts her hands on anything Xbox, it does seem like it's her status quo as being one of the best hires, in my personal opinion, in the last 3 or 4 years should not be understated. Every time she does produce an event, it does seem like it's special. It seems like it's something that you as an Xbox fan need to watch. Unlike what happened yesterday with the IGN event, which I did live, and it was probably the worst hour and 30 minutes that I've ever produced content because it was just, the games were fantastic. Some of them very cozy like games, very excited for a lot of them, but I think that they got cut by the commercials that were shown during the IGN event, which was produced in a piss poor way. But listen, let's get into Fable. We're going to get into the delay. I want to talk about that, but I do want to talk about the footage because, my God, ladies and gentlemen, did you see what I just saw? I mean, the fur on that werewolf looked freaking real. And again, they close it out with you kicking a chicken. Let's go. Jamie Moran, let's talk about it, bro.
Boom. I've been saying, I'm not even kidding, for 10 years, 10 long bloody years, that I want Fable to come back with I want the Witcher 3, but Fable. I want that Fable humor. I want that Fable British humor, but I want a Witcher 3, I want level design, mission design, just overall, how should I put it, quality, right? And this is that and more. Like, I've seen a few people in chat and many on Twitter talk about, has it been delayed for PlayStation? Let me tell you, this is this team's first RPG. They've made games where you play as a car for a decade, right? So this is new to them. They have a bunch of hires from people that have worked on, Batman Arkham City, Red Dead Redemption, God of War, Uncharted, Tomb Raider. So they have some really impressive talent over there making this RPG. It's been delayed. Well, I'll get into the whole delay thing in a second, but like this game looks exactly how I want it to look. The magic looks amazing. That werewolf, oh my, that was a good werewolf. You know, there was a griffin there. Honestly, like that's pre-alpha, and it looks so good. It looks so good. It's everything I've been wanting for a Fable game for a bloody decade. So it looks like they're going to deliver. And look, delays are always annoying. They're always annoying. But at the end of the day, it isn't the hate death of the universe. You know, like some people will inevitably act. You know, there's people that are gonna, grift and make videos about it saying it's the end of Xbox for the 500th time. But look, that game looks amazing. It's Playground Games. Playground Games have never put out a bad product, and they have an amazing team working on an RPG. Now, the funny thing is, like, why is it being delayed? It's because I've talked about this many times. I cover games coming to Xbox every single month. I have a database of games coming to Xbox, and there's a very noticeable trend. And we've seen this at the PlayStation State of Play. We've seen this at the IGN thing yesterday. Everyone is keep listing their games as 2025. They are scared of GTA. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, when GTA 6 comes out, I'm going to put 25 hours into the story mode and move on to something else. Right? That's the reality of the situation. So I'm going to be playing tons of games later this year. But for the broad spectrum of things, a lot of publishers, I've spoke to people that work for Ubisoft, Warner Brothers. They are terrified of Rockstar because this game's gonna, like, whether it lives up to its expectations or not, it's gonna be the fastest selling game of all time. You're not gonna have a AAA release within a month of that release, and everyone's scared of it. That's why we keep getting told vague 2025. So like Fable moving doesn't surprise me. They already have a bunch of games coming this year. We have South of Midnight, Doom: The Dark Ages, the next Call of Duty, which is rumored to be a Black Ops 2 sequel, and then we have The Outer Worlds 2. You know, so like this year's already stacked. And we also have the Elder Scrolls Oblivion remake, which hasn't even been announced yet, which is meant to release by July. So to me, Fable, yeah, it's disappointing. I want to play it this year, but we're going to be good. We're going to be good. Despite this one big delay, Microsoft still has a roadmap.
Yes.
So
yes,
that's the good news. And you know, what we saw from Fable 2 years ago, it looked good. What we saw last year looked way better. And this looked even better. So, like, Fable's in good hands. That's all I need. And if anyone looked at that Fable gameplay and thought, that looks mid, they need to reevaluate their own hobby because they don't know what they're talking about.
I'll say this, and I will tell you, I'm going to be straight up. I appreciate people's opinions. And well, you know, everyone has one. That's fine. I don't know how you could walk away, Infinite Umbra, from what we just saw. Right? We just watched it live on the air, and be like, yeah, that's just another mid, Game Pass fodder game. Look, I'm here to tell you, stop playing games right now. Pack your shit up, go sell it to your local, ring shop, and maybe you'll get $500-600 for it, and go start a new hobby somewhere else. This is what everyone has been asking for. I think Xbox has been delivering for the last couple of years, even though some people within the community and the games media will disagree for, trolling, but they have been delivering. Umbra, I want to hear both sides of the coin. I want to hear what your thoughts are on the gameplay we just saw. And that, again, I didn't expect to see that. And I think we got enough to say, this is a banger. This is a banger, ladies and gentlemen. And your thoughts on the delay, because I see a lot of people in the chat doing the hashtag let them cook. I don't know how they're going to cook any better than they're already cooking, but you know what? See, that's the difference here, Umbra. That's the difference here, community and Jamie Moran. Xbox has over 30 studios. Each one of those studios, if they're not teaming up with another one to help them with their game, they're working on their own game. So 2026, as it's been set up already for us, this is what it looks like, ladies and gentlemen. Fable, State of Decay 3, Forza Horizon 6, something Gears of War, and potentially Halo Combat Evolved, remade in Unreal Engine 5, that's for you, Umbra, to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Chief. And we are only in the second month of 2025. If you cannot get excited about Xbox, folks, you need to check your pulse. You're probably dead. Umbra, let's talk about it. Uh-oh, you're on mute, Umbra. I hope Umbra did not fall asleep. That would be something. We will, you know what? Let's continue the conversation. First of all, I want to welcome in 800 people here. Thank you so much for deciding to check out the show. This is breaking news. Fable has officially been delayed into 2026. You heard Craig Duncan, who is the head of Xbox Game Studios. He wanted to give the team more time. I think that this is brilliant, honestly. At the same time, sure, are we all disappointed? Absolutely. But I will, again, listen, it's one of those things where, Jamie, and I'll go right back to you. You made mention of what they already have coming out this year that we're aware of, right? Now, on the second half of the show, I have a Gears of War story that I pulled from WCCF Tech. And here's the thing, and I'll say this while we await Umbra to come back. I know that there are people in the chat right now that believe, and you're not wrong for believing this, that this is potentially Fable getting out of the way of what is expected to be a full release for Grand Theft Auto 6. Grand Theft Auto 6, no matter where it releases, no matter what year it releases, no matter what time it releases, it's probably going to be the biggest game in video game history when it comes to sales. I think that they break $1 billion the first day. Remember, clip me on this, ladies and gentlemen. I believe $1 billion is going to be the day one take home. Now, is that at 76.43 or 108 and change? Because there's a rumor that Grand Theft Auto might be a $100 game. I really hope not, because then I'm not buying it. I'm not spending $100 on a game that's not a special edition. Unless this thing comes with bells and whistles, they're just not getting my $100. I can't. I will not submit to the overlords of gaming to start paying $100 per game. That to me is just absolutely insane. But Jamie, you mentioned roadmap, and I want to bring this right back to this, for the delay of Fable. Yes, you're disappointed. I would love to play it this year. But in truth, there are so many games outside of Xbox that are releasing this year. Giving them extra time to, hone in on what is expected to be one of the best games that this studio has ever made, I say let them cook.
Yeah. I mean, how many times have Playground Games put a game out and it been bad? Never, right? They've put out games consistently that are just like better and better and better. Like Forza Horizon 4 come out, people loved it. It was the best in the series, and then they outdid themselves again with 5. Like they keep pushing themselves, and I think that's one of the I would like to say Obsidian is one of Microsoft's best studios, but like Playground Games, like they bloody know what they're doing, and like look. I've been thirsty for a Fable game for years and years now. Like, I'm one of the people that played Fable Legends, right? Don't know if I can actually talk about it or not still, but I played that game. But this game looks like what I've been wanting. I let them cook, and like, look, whether it was delayed because of GTA or not, who knows? But
who knows? Yeah,
we could be looking at reality where potentially next year we're going to kick off 2026 with Fable, and then end the year with Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah, that's another one.
So like, look, it is annoying news. It's not bad news. Like I'm perfectly fine with it. I mean, if you look at the broad spectrum of things, Fable didn't have a release date outside of 2025, and we know what's coming later this year. Basically, there's 3 big games that are set to come out this year. There's Crimson Desert, there's Call of Duty, and Grand Theft Auto 6. I think we're all going to be good for video games. Like, if anyone later this year is literally sitting on their couch and thinking, I've got nothing to play, then like, what genres do you like? You know, because we're getting everything this year. We're getting JRPGs. Like, hell, we're meant to be getting Final Fantasy VII Remake on Xbox later this year. Like, we're gonna be good. And like, let them cook. They know what they're doing. And think about it like this. Like, Fable in the past has been a hub world game, much like Dragon Age 1 and 2, Mass Effect 1 through 3. This is a full open world Fable game. We've never had that before. And just going off the amount of detail they have in that world, like, it's going to be a game changer. And I think, like, you know, people like to act like it's the end of the world for Xbox because of the multi-platform stuff, but they're releasing games that look bloody good. You know, they put out Indiana Jones a few months ago, incredible game. They put out Avowed recently, incredible game. And like, they keep pushing themselves. Xbox was always at this place where they would release one game every so often, and people would say, well, Xbox needs to be more consistent. Well, they are now. They've been more consistent. The quality of their games are even better now. So, like, if they are pushing possibly their biggest game of the year out of the year, and they still have a full slate of games for a lineup, nobody has any reason to complain.
You know, it's funny. I'm just reading. First of all, Crispy Bomb, check your DM, brother. We're going into the Gears of War topic, and that's your cue. Sean Johnson says, "Thank God Fable is delayed. Now I could focus on the 7,000 games in its back catalog." I mean, you're not wrong, brother. You're not wrong. Okay, so Umbra did get back to me, and yes, he's back. Umbra. He just messaged me. He might have dozed off, so we will get Umbra. And we'll bring in Crispy Bomb. Umbra, are you there, kind sir?
I don't know, Boom. I think I'm in dreamland. The dream scourge. I don't know if the dream scourge got me in Avowed.
We don't want to have to take you down because you're dream scourge, because there's no cure. So by all means, take a nap if you need it. But listen, obviously you got a chance to watch the footage. I want to get your thoughts on the gameplay that was shown, because look, I'm going to be honest with you. That's breaking news on its own. Right? Yes, the delay. We're all saddened by it. But like I said before, Xbox is in a position where they don't have to release games that are even remotely, there's a chance that it could something go wrong. They literally have so many games that are releasing this year. And I got news for you. Second half of this show, folks, even though I'm going to change the thumbnail, because we were originally going to talk about Doom, I'm going to bring that topic either to Thursday or Friday show, maybe even tomorrow night show. I'll see. But they have a lot releasing. I personally think we'll get into second half of the show why this Fable delay makes room for Gears of War E-Day this year. That's my thought. That's my theory. We'll break it down. But I do want to get your thoughts on the gameplay and ultimately the delay into 2026. What are your thoughts, Umbra?
Well, on the gameplay side, I'm still amazed by the visuals. Like, it's really beautiful. You know what I mean? And I would say, like, it's still amazing me how it looks that good and not being using the Unreal Engine.
That is the Forza Tech engine that they're using, dude.
Highly impressed that looks that good. I will say, I mean, it's clearly pre-alpha footage, whatever. So it's like it's not all together yet, so you can see.
It's not utilizing every bell and whistle. But I got to tell you, even with that said, it's even more impressive, because if this is pre-alpha footage, what is the final build going to look like?
Exactly. And that's why I'm that's why I'm of the mind of take your time, right? For when I see that footage and I'm like, okay, that looks damn good, but at the same time, I realize it's not all the way there. Now, we don't know how old that footage is compared to where they're at now, to be fair, either. But whatever the case, I want them to make sure they have it as best as they can. And I'm sure that that's obviously what they want. So that's another year of development, maybe, I guess, for them, which is good. It's a good thing, and I have no issue with it. As far as the combat and everything, I mean, it looks good. I just want to see I want to see more animation as far as the movement of the battle, because you could, like I said, you could see some of the things weren't all the way in place.
Right.
Where the Wolverine, I'm guessing, or whatever, was, kind of just static in one area, looking at her like, I'm gonna eat your swipe. But other than that, I mean, it looks damn good. I am I remember thinking like, nah, that couldn't be gameplay. That can't be it. That has to be some type of cinematic or something. And I'm glad to be proven wrong there. And clearly that's how the game looks. I just want to see. I can't wait to see the final product. That's so. The good thing about the delay is, I think, several fold. One, we're going to get a better product at the end of the day. I think that's the same thing that happened with Avowed. We got a better game because of it. You're going to get a better product at the end of the day. So they're going to get the polish they need for that to get everything just right. And I think also, they can iron out any issues and things like that. This is their first foray of moving away from a racing game to something like this magnitude. So I feel like for them to have gotten to where they're at now with this and getting a little more time, that's more than fair. And that's why they deserve that extra time anyway. Honestly, they've if anybody who has been earning their keep at Xbox outside of Obsidian, at least, it's been Playground. So
yeah,
I'm all for it. I'm excited to see what they come up with. The final product at least, and yeah, I'm good. I am I almost said I'm satisfied. I'm not satisfied. I am good with them taking the time they need. I mean, I feel like that in general when it comes to these games. I don't feel like there needs to be any rush for development. And like you said, and Jamie pointed out, we have so many good games coming this year. Not even if we ignore first party, we got so many crazy games launching this year. We're not going to be short on any. It's not like we got to have Fable. Like, you know what I mean? Avowed is actually, I think, kind of cured a little bit of that Western RPG itch for me right now already, right? They don't sell the cream for that in stores, so Avowed got rid of the itch. But then you have, of course, Outer Worlds 2 still dropping. I mean, listen, I think we'll be all right. I'll say that. I mean, and I had thought if Fable was dropping this year, it would have been the later part of this year, right? I think we can all agree. Well, you got Grand Theft Auto 6 dropping. Yep. I don't. That's why I was saying too. Like, I don't think it'll launch in the fall with Grand Theft Auto. That's one of the reasons why I thought that. And two, I thought that I had came to a thought that maybe this might be a next gen launch title. I said that too. It looks like it won't be. It looks like it'll be this gen, but it'll be next year, which is good. Take all the time you need. That's where I'm at with this right now.
Great points all around. Crispy Bomb, first of all, brother, welcome to the program. As always, you've been in the chat since the beginning, so you got a chance to see the footage. We are going to get into the Gears of War footage where I believe, and again, this is just a thought, that Gears of War E-Day, based on the fact that it's been in development for nearly 6 years, right? We have a story from WCCF Tech that confirms they've been working on this for quite a while. If again, a lot of people are equating the Fable delay to 26 due to Grand Theft Auto 6, which they're not wrong, because that's the behemoth in the room. You don't want to be anywhere around that thing, because I don't care how good your game is, it is going to get overshadowed by Rockstar's next game, right? I mean, it's Grand Theft Auto. It is what it is. But I think personally that this delay does open up for what we've been hearing for the beginning of the year, that we could get something Gears related. I think it's Gears of War E-Day. We'll get to that. I want to get your thoughts on the graphics of Fable, and more importantly, the delay itself.
Well, I mean, like you gotta play games, and like sometimes you play games that are not in your realm. Like I'm a multiplayer gamer. Boom has given me crap, and also been like, oh, you know what? I love Halo multiplayer. So that's a realm that we live in, and like some people love Fortnite. I understand that. Their graphics have went up. I played Fortnite like for a period of time, like maybe one match, and been like, no, it's not my jam. You'd have to understand that Playground needs to cook, especially when it comes to an RPG. And we look at Avowed, and I mean, visually on my TV, on my Series X, it looks incredible. It really
Stunning.
does.
It
I'm
does.
not even, and the frames, like whatever I choose, it runs on my TV. I have a newer TV. I have a 2023, and it's great. It literally, I could download it, I could play it on the TV, or I could play it on my Series X. I choose the Series X because it's sitting under there for a reason. That's besides the point. My point is that I didn't even know Greg Duncan was the head of, the game studios part of it. I didn't even know.
That was announced last year. It was.
I didn't even know. Well, see,
actually.
that's partly my fault, and I feel like a lot of other people are in the same way. Like, oh, I didn't even know that. The problem is that like this dude was like a full-on Rare guy, and all of a sudden he's talking about other games that he's played. This is what we're talking about with Xbox gamers. Okay, like, hey, like this game looks really good. This game looks special. Okay, and then you can see the Fable, the little tease they gave you, because that's what they did. I mean, this is Tina Amini. I'm sorry. She is the GOAT when it comes to expressing the details of a game to people that don't want to know or don't realize what they're doing. And she is damn good at it. And I give her a lot of credit for it. So I say, okay, you bring this person on who's got land based on MNC mornings back in the day for, talking about Sea of Thieves back, almost 10 years ago, it feels like. Okay. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, and then he's the head of the Xbox game studios, like Xbox game, not Microsoft Studios, none of that. Xbox game studios. And he's talking about Fable. So then you have people saying there, oh, well, when is it coming to PlayStation? Well, Fable was never really on PlayStation until it was. But wait, was it? This isn't a legacy title. This is something that's been on Xbox since inception, other than PC. So what are we talking about here? So I just, when people go down these crazy rabbit holes, and I'm like, look, they're talking about what's coming to Xbox consumers. That's what they're doing. And I hate the fact that all of a sudden it's like, well, when is it coming to PlayStation?
Probably in 2027.
Who knows? Okay, because I'm not taking that away. But why do you have to wait? Why can't you just, get a good TV? You want a new TV anyway. Go download Game Pass on there, and there you go. You're gonna get it when it comes out. I mean,
listen,
this is the weird realm we're in right now, and I hate it and love it. I love it because, like, I've been saying this for a long time. Like, relax, chill. Like, we are gamers. We're going to play games. We're going to understand that some companies are going to want to make more games, and some companies are going to want to make less games and hold them to their said console. And that's what PlayStation's doing. That's not on us. On us, we are gamers. We understand that we're gamers. Are we going to enjoy, if you want Ninja Gaiden 4 on your PlayStation, they don't care. But also you get it in Game Pass. So that's up to you.
Listen, it's great points of view. First of all, I love how you clarified it's playground games and they have to hit, right? Because this is their first RPG, right? They were handed the keys to a very important franchise, and and again, I know it's not one-to-one, but if you look at what the Killzone studio did for years, they made a first-person shooter, right? Now, I know the Virtual Tomatoes are coming out when I say I love Aloy as a character in the first game. I absolutely adore Horizon Zero Dawn. I don't like what they did afterwards, and I don't know where the magic went. but they went from a first-person shooter that was reportedly a Halo killer to being not a great franchise. And then they came out with Horizon Zero Dawn. That is exactly what Playground Games is doing. And every time, we got to admit this, ladies and gentlemen, sure, the delay itself, disappointing. I get it. I understand, right? I'm not even going to use the Grand Theft Auto 6 excuse or the fact that we have so many games to play that we don't have literally the hands or the time in a day to do our regular life stuff and game at the same time. It's just too much.
Can I just say this real quick? Boom.
Please.
Think about this, okay? Let's say they pushed, because I've seen this in the chat. They pushed Fable out because Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming. But what if it drops in Game Pass within like the first 3 months of release? I mean, what are we talking about here?
I mean, it would be balls of steel to do it. I don't know if they could do it. I don't know if they could afford to do it. I mean, they are Microsoft, but I mean, listen, at the end of the day, they announced a delay at the end of this one-on-one with Tina Amini, which again, this is another excellent produced show, right? It had some good news, right? In the form of, we got a chance to see gameplay we've never seen before, Fable. Pre-alpha footage looked as good as I could imagine it. And that's pre-alpha. That's without all the bells and whistles. And it looked that good. We're in for a treat. Then you get then of course you get the delay. The delay is what it is. There again, I'm not making excuses for the $3 trillion company, but I'm also in the ballpark where a game like this that wants to impress everyone, that apparently is going to be everywhere on every console, and of course it's coming to Xbox first, it needs to hit. It needs to be that hashtag just one that Cognito has been talking about from the Iron Lords for years. But, gentlemen, we got to get into the second half of this show. And obviously, we normally do 90 minutes on this show. It's probably going to go a pinch longer simply because, well, we have 4 people on the panel, 3 of which are community members that have bombastic opinions that I want you to hear. And I do want to go right immediately to Crispy Bomb. Crispy, in front of me is a story that was put out there on February 19th, just a couple of days ago. It was written by Francisco De Mayo. He works, and he's one of the journos over at WCCF Tech. And the lead title for his article says this, ladies and gentlemen: Gears of War E-Day has been in active development for over 5 years. Now, it goes on to say, as reported on X by VGT Gaming News, the game's senior level designer revealed on LinkedIn that the new entry into the popular series has been in active development for over 5 years and 2 months already. As such, its release may not be too far into the future. Now, again, this comes the way of VGT. Go please follow them. They are a newly created gaming news site, and they are friends of the channel. And I do like the work that they do over there. Well, listen, again, this is just my opinion, subject to change, of course. But we've been hearing since last year, and you are Mr. Gears. So that's why I went to you first. Right? We know that we have potentially 2 different Gears of War projects releasing at some point, right? We know for a fact that Gears of War E-Day that shocked and awed everyone around the world last year when it was shown off for the first time during the Xbox June showcase. I was ass in seat, and I'm still baffled that I got a chance to see that in person. Just unbelievable. But of course, there is the rumored Unreal Engine 5 Marcus Phoenix collection. Now, does the chicken come before the egg or the egg before the chicken? I'm not sure. But I personally think, and of course, please, but anyone on the panel in the chat, push back if you think I'm being too forward-thinking or facetious. I think that this delay ultimately makes room for the rumored Gears of War E-Day to release this year. I think what this does is open the door wide for it. Now, whether it does release this year or it's next year, and that's just another ridiculous banger in 26, either way, Xbox gamers #win. #Xbox better? I think so. Let's get your thoughts, man.
Yeah, boom. As far as this goes with E-Day, it gives me several things to think of. One, I'm super, I can't express my joy of Unreal enough. And I know Coalition is going to turn out something crazy. That it's been 5 years in development is a surprise. Did not expect that. When they showcased this last year, my thinking was, okay, they just really started on this once we heard about them putting those 2 games aside that they were working on. And I'm sure you all remember that. So this was a surprise to see that it's been 5 years in the making already. So with that in mind, there is a possibility, I guess, that this could come out this year. I feel like, though, much like with Fable, they'll give the Coalition time for this too, because I think, again, that the year is so stacked with releases from first party. They have no real need to put this out this year. You know what I mean? They really don't. And they'll have more of a prime, to borrow a name from you, a prime time next year, really, in putting it out, honestly. So they don't really have there's no real need to get this out this year. And seeing how GTA is going to dominate later in the second half, I don't see why they would. The only way I can see this being put out is if it comes out maybe in the summer. That would make sense then, because they can get enough of a player base to get in on it, get the multiplayer side going. If it's I guess combat against each other, which I'm assuming they're going to put into the game. I'm going to guess.
I would imagine it's going to be your typical your atypical Gears release. It's going to have a multiplayer and a single player for sure.
That's what So it almost feels like this is some type of standalone project outside of the main thing in a way, you know what I mean? But I'm sure they're going to have all the bells and whistles. So I'm of the mind that, and they stopped working on past Gears multiplayer a year or two ago, I believe, right? So yeah, all of that focus is going on this. So yeah. Also, by the way, how many people work at the Coalition now? The team of what, 300 or 400 maybe?
You know what? I could look. Let me, give me a second. I'll look up on their
300
LinkedIn.
plus, I believe.
Oh, there you go. 300. Well, that's Mr. Gears, so he would know.
So yeah, they have more than enough people to get this churned out and with quality, because we know they can do what they do. The Coalition, right? Top of the cream of the crop, top as far as that engine work goes. So yeah, I don't know. It's a possibility. I can't dismiss anything. I think with us having that much time known that's been worked on, that E-Day has been worked on, it's a possibility it could go this year. I wouldn't rule it out all the way. I just feel like next year makes more sense, especially considering, well, we don't know enough either, so I can't quite say that, but next year seems like we don't have a direct understanding of everything releasing next year, and they're stacked already this year. So Fable and E-Day of next year, that would be crazy. So I don't know. We'll see, man. I just again, I'm still of the mind of take your time and get it out there when you get it out there. That's where I'm at with this. But it is good to know that they put that much work into it. This is another title where I kind of thought maybe this would be a next gen launch, and it seems like that might not be the case for this either. It might be next year as well, if not this year.
It's going to be something else. Crispy Bomb, I want to bring you immediately back in. I'm looking at the LinkedIn, and according to this, it says that they have at any one point between 201 and 500 employees. They don't specifically say 300 or 370 or 380. It says literally entertainment providers, and they're in Vancouver and British Columbia, between 201 and 500 employees, Crispy. Now, look, again, it's just a suggestion. It's a thought. I want to get your opinions on this. Does a Fable delay one of what is expected to be one of the biggest Xbox game studio releases. You know, you're going all the way back to OG Xbox, bringing an IP that needs to cook, needs to hit day one, and it looks like they're there. Personally, based on the footage we've seen, to me, they're there. Give them the extra time; it's not a problem. We saw how that worked out with Avowed. Avowed, when it was first shown, combat was a little bit, wishy-washy, a little floaty, didn't have that oomph. And what do most people like about Avowed besides the graphics? The point-to-point combat. It feels satisfying, feels good, feels real. Well, Fable officially moving into 2026. Now we have some space. Now, what is that space going to be filled with? Call of Duty? Possibly, right? That's definitely going to be in there. Oblivion, expected to be in June or July. What else could fill this particular void? Because remember, we don't know what the second half or the last 6 months of the year looks like. I have a feeling that it's going to be Gears of War E-Day. I know some people are going to push back on it. What are your thoughts, Crispy?
I'm actually with you on this. And this is because I feel like, we've all been clamoring the Phoenix collection. And it drives me nuts that it's still not, been announced or anything like that. But I also feel like, that's where I say, it's at least 300 people that are in that dev cycle of the coalition. But also there's probably another amount of people that are in the Microsoft / Xbox A-team. Remember?
Yes.
Remember? Everybody gives me hate for this. But if Phil said I didn't bring in the A-team on Redfall, and he specifically said the coalition. Okay, so I'm just saying, the coalition can cook as long as they want, and we're going to be good with it, because at the end of the day, you look at Gears 1 to Gears 2, it was a 2-year cycle. Okay, we're talking 5+ years in what we're experiencing right now. And also, I almost feel like the coalition helped with Avowed. I really do. The immersiveness that it gave me so far is up that alley. That doesn't mean it's the same game. They're just that good. And that's where I say, you know what? E-Day technically will be the prequel of prequels. You understand what I'm saying? And that's where I go and say, okay, so let's say on the 20th anniversary, you bring out Phoenix Collection.
Yes.
That
not
makes
a bad
more
thing.
Sense,
right?
That's not a bad thing. And possibly, I'm going to throw it out there. They might say in 6 months, PlayStation gamers, you'll get it. Fully polished, everything else. Because they want them to experience something that at least some of them have never experienced. And understand that, just like Fable, all in third person for what we've seen so far, right? I play Avowed in third person. I love Gears because it's third person. It has a cover-based system that is unmatched from any game I've ever played in third person. Not first person, I'm talking third person. So I go and say, why not give them something that they've never... You play Doom, you play whatever you can on PlayStation. You have not experienced a fucking Gears. Sorry for the language.
That's
but
all right.
You haven't.
Drive that point home, sir.
You have not experienced Gears the way it is. And I'm talking the original trilogy. 2 is my favorite. Some people say 1. Some people say 3. That is a debate that I will not argue with, because I love Gears and I love all 3 of the original titles.
Yes.
Judgment is for a different, I'm not hating nobody. It was the multiplayer that was the problem.
Yeah,
but
E-Day was really good. I enjoyed the story.
E-Day seems like they're trying to bring the nostalgia, number one, okay, because they did that in the trailer, but also the graphical fidelity that they have contributed to the gaming community for decades, it feels like. Okay. And on top of that, understand that we need to make something new. And I think it is like if that's the reason they move Fable out, so be it, because you're going to see it. Because I'm going to tell you right now, GTA will have its fandom, but Gears will always have its fandom as well. So we're not talking about the same realm. They're not the same realm. Gears is very strategic. You can hate the wall bouncing. You can love it. Once you embrace it and understand that you can just pivot this and that with just some strafing, you will understand that it's not that big of a deal. You just watch them bounce around like a freaking moron, and then you just shoot them in the head as soon as they come at you. It's not that hard. Okay? Like, I've played PC players. I played all this. Remember when, oh gosh, Star and Crap Gamer. Oh, I got the Gears tattoo. I told you that, I can't play against PC players. Well, guess what? All you got to do is make sure they don't get the damn goddamn long shot. Okay? Sniper, long shot, whatever you want to call it. That's the point. All right. If you're playing multiplayer, hey, you're playing against a PC person, don't let them get the long shot. That's the way it goes. But that's that game. Boom probably don't know half of what I'm talking about, but that's okay.
I do know about the long shot because I stopped playing Gears because of it. Because every time I walked out,
I agree with you. I understand, and I understand where he's coming from, but that doesn't mean that you can't throw it to the curb and be like, no, I'll just throw my shotgun in your face and you're gonna be dead before you get that damn thing. That's the way I roll. And that's where I say, like, Gears of War E-Day is gonna bring this visceralness. And yes. I think it would be logical to bring it out now because I feel like the FOMO is starting to build up. Avowed is building that FOMO. Hey, this person gets it in Game Pass. Hey, you could play it on PC. Hey, I can't play it. The FOMO is starting to build up with Xbox games. Yeah, and I think Gears of War E-Day, not releasing anytime soon, not saying it wouldn't, on PlayStation, would be a big deal to the people that are on the cusp of saying, you know what, maybe I should grab an Xbox Series S or X and get Game Pass. I'm just saying.
It's a great point of view. Look, so far, I think we've already knocked it out of the park. This is one of my favorite shows of the year so far, simply because we have the breaking news. We got new visuals of Fable. You can kick chickens. A lot of people are very excited about that. Craig Duncan mentioned specifically about the British humor. I know Jamie was concerned about that, where a lot of people, it's going to return. Jamie, I gotta get your hot takes on this Gears conversation that we're having, though, because cart before horse or horse before cart. What do I mean by that? So there are people in the chat here that do not believe the Gears of War collection exists. Folks, I'm here to tell you it does. The reason why it does is because of multiplat. The reason why Xbox is putting their games everywhere, not something I would have signed off with 5 years ago, 2 years ago. But this is the big business of gaming, right? Ballooning budgets. So the reason why I believe it exists is because if they're going to release Gears of War E-Day on a PlayStation and potentially on a Switch too, they don't have any correlation to what happened in the later Gears, right? There's no context. So that you may not get a lot of sales. Now, maybe there are some people on PlayStation that were Xbox 360 gamers. Sure, maybe some of them, but that's not all of them. So when I say cart before horse, Jamie, I mean, so what exactly could happen? The rumor is that we're getting multiple Gears projects. We know what those two projects are. It's E-Day and the Marcus Phoenix Collection. How and what makes sense in the release schedule? Well, Fable's been officially delayed. That leaves the fall open for something. Now, Gears of War E-Day is a prequel. gives you all the backdrop to not only who Marcus is as a character, but Dom, their friendship, how Gears started. You released that this year. Next year, for the 20th anniversary, celebrating the 25th anniversary of Master Chief and the actual brand, the platform of Xbox, you put out the Gears collection. And then at that point, it's in order. You got Gears of War E-Day this year, Gears of War, the Marcus Phoenix Connection next year, and you got your prequel and your 1, 2, and 3 done in Unreal Engine 5. It makes sense to me. Does it make sense to you?
Chronologically, that would make sense, but to me, I'm on the opposite side of the fence. I think that you'd put out the collection first to generate hype for the new, multi-$100 million Gears project, E-Day.
I love it.
And, E-Day coming out in 2026 alongside a new Xbox, really think about it like that for a minute, because Xbox Series X and S launched basically without any launch titles. And they were hammered for that. So, what would go down better? A collection of older games that were either remade or remastered, or a brand new shiny Gears of War E-Day. So,
Makes sense, sir.
That's where I am with that. And plus, I don't even think that Gears of War in general may be the only game Microsoft has for later this year. I honestly, Fable, that's out the way now.
Right.
I've been saying this for the past year. I'm still saying this. I think Clockwork Revolution comes out this year.
It's a good one, dude.
Oh,
I've been saying that all year. Yep.
It was announced with gameplay almost 2 years ago. They've been quiet ever since. All we hear from In Exile, brilliant studio, is they put out the best memes on Twitter. So they've been heads down memeing and making games. So to me, I'm saying Gears of War collection and Clockwork Revolution.
It's a good pick.
I don't hate it. I love both.
I'll put it this way. Maybe I'm being a spoiled brat here. I don't care either way, to be honest with you. If we get something Gears this year, whether it be E-Day and then next year it's celebrating the 20th anniversary with a remake, not a remaster, literally a remake from the ground up using Unreal Engine 5, Umbra will sign off on that. That's not even a problem. Umbra is definitely signing off on that. But if it turns out to be the other way around, where this year you give us the Marcus Phoenix collection, right? The rumored Gears of War collection, and then next year for potentially new hardware and celebrating the 20th anniversary of Gears, celebrating the 25th anniversary of the actual Xbox platform, your release E-Day, I don't think you could go wrong either way, to be honest with you. And Clockwork Revolution being later this year, I didn't even think about that until you just said it out loud. And now I believe that Fable getting out of the way potentially makes room for that as well. Because again, just look at what they've done for the first 6 months of the year, right? And I'm talking about games, not shows, just games. Avowed, South of Midnight, Ninja Gaiden Black 2, or Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, which of course is confirmed to be first-party development, a la Greenie, and then of course you got Doom in May. Potentially June is going to be, this is a rumor, the Oblivion remake. I mean, that's a stacked deck for the first 6 months. How do you follow that? Something Gears related, Fable, all right, it's been moved, not a problem. But they have other things that they've been cooking, and Matt Booty himself said that we have things releasing in 25 that we haven't even showed yet. What are those things? We will see. We will definitely see. Again, folks, this has been one heck of a audible, because again, I had written an entirely different show, changed it on the lead up to the show, and then had to change everything because of this breaking news. We have nearly 1,000 people watching live. That is wild. We're always so thankful for people checking out the stuff. I do got to catch up on the super chats, gentlemen, and we will get everyone out of here. First of all, the first super chat of the day comes the way of Sith Lord. He says, coming soon, cooking with Mr. and Mrs. Boom. I wish she would mind being in camera because Mrs. Boom puts her foot in the pot. She can cook. She is chef level good with cooking, where if she opened up her own joint called like Josie's or something like that, she would make a mint. But she's behind the scenes. She doesn't like being in front of the camera. I totally understand.
You got to have a catchphrase, Boom. That like, I guarantee.
I guarantee. Yeah, I mean, that's possible. But it would have to be something Hispanic because she's Puerto Rican. So it would be something, with a catchphrase that she would come up with. And she's so witty. Oh, my God. You have no idea. She's amazing. Well, listen, Will the Broke Boy Lewis drops not one, folks, not two, but three super chats in a row. First one of $5. He says, IGN posted an article at 11 a.m. Devs have officially delayed Fable release date until 2026. Craig Duncan, head of Xbox Game Studio, has confirmed as well. I appreciate that. Like I said, brother, I was away from social media because I was doing some, in real life stuff. And but I appreciate the super chat. The second super chat of the day says, going to see a lot of the other games do the same thing until Rockstar gives an official date for Grand Theft Auto 6. Most devs won't announce. Fable just jumped the gun. I mean, look, nobody wants to be around Grand Theft Auto. I mean, that's just a fact. I don't care who you are. I would even dare say that they don't want to put Call of Duty in front of Grand Theft Auto. Now, do I think Grand Theft Auto is going to have a multiplayer mode at inception? I do not. They just never do both at the same time. I think they're going to continue incorporating Grand Theft Auto 5's multiplayer into Grand Theft Auto 6 in some way, fashion, or form. I think Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be single player. It's not releasing on PC. That's been confirmed. That is why there's going to be a lot of Xbox Series X, S, and PS5s being sold. Mostly probably PS5s for that matter, because it's the bigger, more popular brand. People on PS4 are going to have to move up. We'll see how that goes. But I think both consoles are going to sell for sure because people are not going to be able to play Grand Theft Auto 6 on their PS4s, their Xbox Ones. It's just a fact. His next super chat says, damn it, the elusive gamer stole my SC point once again. Sorry about that, Will Broke Boy Lewis. You're always getting your points stolen. We have here Nino Vostik. Now, he's obviously done this almost every show. He's a generous friend from Hawaii. So aloha to you and the fam. He has gifted, ladies and gentlemen, one Double Barrel Gaming membership. And please, if you did get this from Nino, which he does on a regular basis, please thank this man because that is very generous. He doesn't have to do it, and we do greatly appreciate it. Sloth in the chat. Mahalo is indeed. Sloth in the chat drops a $10 super chat. He says, I'm glad they're taking their time with it, mainly because that backlog is real. Also, Fable is an iconic game. We want the best possible. You know what? Great point. Great point of view. Again, it's one of those things like the kids like to say, let them cook. Indeed, let them cook. And all I can say is look to Avowed as to why it was important for that Avowed delay. Well, it's an early game of the year contender. Now, again, is it going to win the game of the year? I don't know. It's currently my game of the year. I have 110 hours. I'm so addicted to this that I went back to a level 20 save and started going to areas. I'm clearing the map like you were doing. The Fog of War. I'm finding things. Now I'm a little overpowered, which is why I hope that they do level scaling. And I do hope that they add a new game plus so I can start over with all of my gear and then redo everything. Because I want them to also increase past level 30. They did that. They did that for the Outer Worlds. I don't know how soon they can do it, but that's some of the things that I want from Avowed. BT Maverick 707, generous friend of the program, says, did Crispy make it past the level 1 bear? Did you get past the bear yet, Crispy Bomb?
Nope.
He has not gotten past that goddamn bear.
I'm telling you, I've tried everything.
I think it's because he does not want to beat that bear in first person. I think if you play it in first person, you will beat that bear.
Well, that's my crux at this point because I've tried everything else. So, maybe I should do it, but
I would do it just to
don't.
get past it
No,
personally.
no.
He's so stubborn.
No.
Oh my God. Yep. This is what we love you, Crispy.
I got the digital bear now. Boom. He does my
Oh.
dirty work. It's an achievement for that. By
I have the digital bear. You know something? I didn't use that. Sadly enough, I did use the digital skeletons though. They're dope.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, there are 3 of them that pop out from the ground. Kind of gives me again, I'm showing my age here. Remember that film from Harryhausen called Jason and the Argonauts? I mean, it came out in 1963. So that was even well before me, but
I saw reruns and stuff like that on like.
So when the skeletons came out of the ground, that's what it reminds me of, and it made me smile from ear to ear because I'm old man, and well, you know what, Jason and the Argonauts is life.
Right.
I hope that they actually. I don't want them to remake it because I think they made something like it. I want them to digitally upgrade it into like UHD. Maybe they'll do that one day. But lastly, and he's done this. I think 3 shows this week, and that's. In the last couple of weeks, Eris_EMS, folks, a generous friend of the program, has done it once again. He has gifted, ladies and gentlemen, 10 double barrel gaming memberships. That is a lot of loot, and we are incredibly grateful for that kind of support. Thank you so much to Nino Vestic and Eris_EMS for donating these memberships. If you did get one, please, by all means, thank the people in the chat, because they don't have to do it, and they do it on a regular basis. But that's going to do it for us here. Again, I just put out 2 videos that went live right before the show. Please go check those out. They are it's one of the videos, the podcast cut down from yesterday and from Friday's show, where we had a big talk on what Xbox is doing regarding first party and more importantly, single player. Single player is coming back in a big way. You could just see by everything that's been released so far this year. It's all single player. And they are still making loads of money with their gas games that they are just killing it right now. Let's get everyone out of here. We'll start first with the Elusive Gamer, who has a show happening later this evening, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, called All Things Xbox. Himself and Logan Meyer do this every Tuesday. And obviously, you're going to be talking Fable. It is going to be the big conversation. And listen, there is a lot to get into. I think more so the delay is important to talk about, but I think even better is the gameplay that we saw. It looked freaking amazing. I can't wait to hear your thoughts or your further thoughts on it, as well as Logan. Sell the brand, brother. Where can people check out that show later this afternoon? And more importantly, subscribe to you and follow you on social media.
Thanks, Boom. It's always a pleasure. So yeah, today on later on, the Elusive Gamer on YouTube, we'll be having an All Things Xbox podcast at 6 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be breaking down the Fable gameplay, talk about the benefits, all that stuff, talk about upcoming releases and all that stuff. Final Fantasy, Splinter Cell. I'm probably going to have some sort of rant about Rockstar and video game prices. That seems to be part of the course these days. But it's going to be a fun show. And again, 6 p.m. Eastern. And my Twitter is JamieManUK, where it's exclusively gaming and jokes.
And we love you for it, brother. Thank you so much for joining us. Infinite Umbra, you have a show happening this Thursday. I know we're only on Tuesday. I would imagine that before your show starts at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with yourself and Daniel McGee, there's going to be some additional potential footage of Fable. There could be some more information as to when they could be possibly releasing next year. I think it's first quarter, kind of like Avowed. I wouldn't be surprised if in January we get the developer direct and we get a release in February. Seems par for the course. But of course, we have to wait for that to happen. I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Tell everyone where they can not only subscribe to your YouTube channel, follow you on social media, but check that show out this Thursday.
Yes, sir. Good. Thanks for having me, Boom, and Jamie doing your thing. Thanks for joining us, Crispy. Shout out to the chat. Appreciate you guys. Man, as far as where you can find me, of course, on social media, Infinite Umbra or Umbra Infinite, you'll find me either way. As Boom said, Thursdays, 8 o'clock Eastern, on myself and Danny. I'm not sure what we'll talk about this week, just for to be certain, but I do want to. We did miss last week, so I might bring some of the topics forward toward this and kind of do some evergreen discussions. We'll see how we handle that. We got some things we could talk about outside of gaming too. So I want to see how I might want to map that out. Next Tuesday, though, I'm going to do a special. We're doing a round table I was talking about for Avowed.
Nice.
So it'll be myself, it'll be Danny, it'll be Slow-Mo Backslap, who I'm sure most of you all might know in the chat. It'll be Lucius Augustus Boom, who you know.
Yes.
And possibly OBM, One Bad Mother. So
I'm going to see, you know what? Send me a link. I could probably get in there 15, 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah, jump in.
I'll be more than happy to join you guys on that round table.
Absolutely.
That'd be dope. Yeah, I'll definitely jump in for that.
Absolutely. So that'll be on we're trying to aim for Tuesday because everybody has things going on Thursday. And so Tuesday of next week, I guess maybe midday or something like that. We'll figure it out. I'll iron out the time. If it's not just a matter of us doing a pre-record, we'll see. I'll see how it works if, depending on people's schedule, but we're trying to do it live and it will be a spoiler discussion. So for those who are interested in it and would have finished Avowed, that would be for you to join in on with us next week. So if you haven't, you might not want to jump in because we're not going to really try to tiptoe around it too much. Boom. I was warned by Lucius before I got to this part and forgot about it. And it was like, hey, do this cave. Make sure you do that cave. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
So I forgot what he was talking about. I did I had to do, and things happened the wrong way. And I was like, hey, didn't you tell me about this? He's like, yeah, I told you. You know how you talk. Yeah, I told you that you make sure that you can. And I was like, well, I didn't listen to you.
I see, and he told you. I was very vague. I'm like, yeah, there's a particular thing in a particular region. I don't even want to give it a region, but if it's hidden, it's behind the waterfall. If you miss it, it's gonna be a big part of the story.
What I'm talking about for sure.
Yep.
I had no idea, and then I looked at the achievements. I'm like, let me look at my achievements because I'm not getting enough pops right now. Because I'm going through the game. I'm like, I'm in the third area. I'm like, I'm doing stuff.
Completely changes the entire scope of the game.
Yeah, I felt salty. I'm like, wait a minute. I saw one of the achievements. That's what alerted me to achievement. I was like, wait. I can. Oh,
yes.
Then I had to go back and look. I'm like, oh, and what's crazy is. I already like doing a roaming I do and going around a map. I went across that already. I saw it. I had it on my map highlighted and everything. I just never went in there.
Oh, wow.
So that was doubly like a slap to the face for me. I was like, I felt like an idiot.
No, I mean, listen, this is, again, it's one of those things we'll be talking. This is a water cooler game, ladies and gentlemen. I know that a lot of people are hating on Xbox. And if you're one of them, I'm not going to fight you on it. Like what you like. But I'm here to tell you that if you're a gamer, I don't care what ilk you're a gamer, whether it be PlayStation, PC, Nintendo, or Xbox, or all the above. If you miss out, if you like RPGs, Western RPGs, if you have any inkling or connection to Obsidian in any way, shape, or form, whether that be Knights of the Old Republic 2, Fallout New Vegas, or anything under the sun that has touched or has been touched, by Obsidian's hands, you owe it to yourself as a gamer, ladies and gentlemen, to play this game. That is the best praise I could possibly give it. And, but again, check out Umbra this Thursday. And obviously he'll let you know when he goes live and what he's talking about. Crispy Bomb, my brother from another. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate the Gears knowledge as you are, the Gears pro of any panel you're on. Brother, where could people follow you on social media, potentially get that crispy truth that some people sometimes need? And what else you got going on, sir?
Chris Bomb on X, Chris Bomb 28, Xbox Live. I don't know, like great thought processes. We do things and we play games the way we want, and then that's important. For me, people were like, you haven't beat that bear yet. Well, I wasn't supposed to get to this bear anytime soon. I just climbed up a bunch of shit, and I dropped down, and I can't get back up. I can't go backwards.
Oh,
so
man.
This is what it is.
Yeah.
And you know what? I don't hate it, but I've also tried everything. So now I'm going to look at it and say, okay, how do I defeat this thing? And the one thing that I have, maybe nobody else has, is that bear regenerates its health constantly. Yeah. So maybe I need to just keep whacking it until it has no opportunity to do that. I don't know. But what I'm saying is I love the game for what it is. It's not like I'm sitting there like, oh, I know everything and I'm the greatest, or vice versa, that this thing is absolutely destroying me. I've had it close to death multiple times. And that thing just all of a sudden out of nowhere goes AI on me and is like, oh, I'm going to charge you when you're trying to freaking health up and all this other thing. I actually enjoy that because it's not, like everybody says, like, oh, you're trying to be a Demon Souls game or something like that. No. I played Ninja Gaiden. I played Demon Souls when I was on the PlayStation, OG PlayStation. Okay, no, not the same thing. This is trolling me, and it's pissing me off. And you have to understand that it's pissing me off so much that now I gotta go back to myself and be like, okay, are you actually thinking about this? Can you actually just slap them with a fucking goddamn knife 100 times? Like that's the way I look at things. So yes, I'm an OG. Yes, I understand that I don't have the achievement score that some people have. That doesn't mean I don't play games. That doesn't mean that I have 68 days in Gears 4.
Brother,
60
listen,
something days.
You don't know
Gears
anybody
5.
explanation about why you haven't beat that GD bear. It's fine. Listen, if a word of advice, if you got to a place where you're not supposed to be, this is one of the things I keep telling everyone. Save 100 times. Save,
right
because the
that.
more you save, you can just go back. I had beat the game, and
I'm like an hour and a half back if I go to the save before.
I would go an hour and a half back. I personally, at this point, go back.
I can't.
I know. Again, it's just where we play.
It's just me. It's just me. Like, look, people, like, listen to Boom. Don't listen to me. I'm just no.
It's fine. You're stubborn as a goat. It is okay, Crispy.
Did the bear beat him back in time? Like what happened exactly? It hit him so hard he went back and like what happened?
I got accused of bear abuse the way I was beating down these bears with my electric.
I'm tearing these bears apart.
Yeah.
I got that emerald splitter.
What?
Oh.
Yes,
I feel bad.
That is that.
At least you're not trying to F them. No,
right.
That's definitely true. Definitely.
Yeah.
But listen, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us here. Hopefully, you enjoyed the program enough to hit the like button. If you're not already subscribed, folks, we are 311 away from 16K. Can we get there? Well, geez, it's February. I hope so before the end of the year, and you can help us get there. If you enjoyed the conversation, if you enjoy the videos and the shorts and the unboxings that we've been doing recently on Double Barrel Gaming, please consider subscribing. We would greatly appreciate your help on the trek to 16K because obviously we want to hit 25, we want to hit 50, we want to hit 100,000 subscribers. I don't know if my lifetime will ever get there, but you can certainly help, and it starts with your sub, and we definitely will appreciate that. I just finished looking at the new Valari gaming pillow that stars myself and my nephew Tyler. It's getting finished as we speak right now by the great Sean Labrie, and that will be up. I'll be starting to do the advertising. Once a week, maybe twice. You're going to see it pinned to my Twitter account. If you see it pinned, please, retweet it, like it, so it gets out there. Because again, somehow or another, a small little mom and pop show like us got a company to put we have a branded pillow now, and it's a great product because it actually does work for people who have back problems. But that's going to do it for us here. A big thank you to all of the super chats and channel member chats that came in. A big thank you to nearly 1,000 people watching live across X, YouTube, and Twitch. We definitely appreciate it. And for Jamie, for Infinite Umbra, Crispy Bomb, and myself, we want to bid you good day. Enjoy gaming on whatever console you enjoy gaming. And I'm going to close out the show with something that's incredibly important to me, folks. Hopefully, one day will be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you, you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of the Xbox Factor Podcast.